Hello and welcome to another episode of Mrs. Smith Teaches Science. Today we are going to be looking at something called chromatography, which is a nice fun way of making some pictures. Now to do this, you're going to need some felt pens or markers. You're going to need some chopsticks, some glasses with a little bit of milk in, and either some kitchen roll or some filter paper, and this one has come from a coffee filter, hence the shape of it. Okay, so do you know what chromatography means, Theodore? No. So chroma refers to colour and graph refers to a picture. So what do you think we're going to be making?
Picture.
A picture using?
Pens.
If chroma means colour, what are we going to be making a picture of?
Colours.
Colours, brilliant. So, to do chromatography the normal way, what you need is a strip of paper, which is fairly thin because you don't want it touching the sides of the glass. And the first thing you need to do is, if you're doing it properly, do a little pencil line across the bottom so we know where it starts. So if I just get my pencil and a ruler, I can put a little pencil line along the bottom here, just 1 or 2 centimetres up. Yeah? Okay, and then we can see which colours we want to try out. Which colours would you like to try? I'm going to do it on this piece of paper. Right, so when you've got your colour, so wait a second, Theodore. When you've got your colour, you're going to put a little spot just on the pencil line. You might want to put the spot on 2 or 3 times. So lift it up and put it on again. That's brilliant. So if I then take brown as well, and let's put this one on. So just dot it on a few times. Do you want to try the purple as well? Put it on next to it. Yeah. And I will use this one as well. And finally, I'm going to do actually I might do the Sharpie one just to try it out. So we've got a few different types of pen here, and I want to see which one's best. So once you've got all your ink on your starting line, you're going to put it into water. But we're not going to put it into a full thing of water. That would be wrong. The ink, have you ever put ink in water and seen it all spread out and contaminate the water? So we're not going to do that. We're going to put it in a tiny bit of water, and the water's only going to cover this bottom bit. It is not going to go near my pencil start line. So if I hold it up next to my glass, I can see that the water, I'll put it this way around, I can see that the water in the glass isn't coming up to the pencil line. But I can also see that my filter paper is a bit too high. So what I'm going to do is take my chopstick and I'm going to start rolling this over and over and over until I can see that it's just going to dangle into the water ever so slightly. Okay? You all right there, Dory? And then what I'm going to need to do is just take this bit off, because otherwise it's not going to fit properly. And obviously it's a lot better if you do this with scissors. It's just, I'm not going to run off and grab my scissors at the moment. So we're going to wind it round really neatly. You're going to watch me, Theodore. Start it at the top and just wind it round, keeping it nice and tight. Okay, now this should fit directly into the water, so all I need to do is pop my piece of paper into my glass and have it touch the water. Fantastic. Okay, you're going to need to roll that one just a little bit more so that you can rest it in there. And can you see, as soon as the water hits the paper, it starts sucking it up. The kitchen roll, this one, is going a lot faster than the filter paper, this one. But they're both still going. So that's good. Now what is happening here is my ink is soluble, which means it will dissolve into the solvent, in this case water. So while my ink is dissolving into my water, let's just pop that a little bit more in the water. So while my ink dissolves into the water, it's carried up the chromatography paper. Now this isn't proper chromatography paper, it's just filter paper and kitchen roll, but it still works. And as you can see, so you can see this one on Theodore's one, not all the colours are moving up as fast as the water. Now how far they do move up the paper, you can measure them, and this is called the RF value, and each ink has the same, so each time I'm going to do the red one, it's going to have the same RF value, it's going to travel up the paper the same amount. Now sometimes your ink is insoluble, so you can see this little blue one just here. That blue one looks like it's staying still and not moving up at all. So that means it's insoluble. It will have an RF of 0. Whereas if you look on this one, you can see that green one is running up to the top and spreading out a little bit. So that means it has an RF of pretty much 1. It's going all the way up. Now, with these ones, so these felt tip pens, it looks like they're made just of one colour because we're not getting any separation. But what we can see, the black felt tip that I used, we can see that it's got different colours in. We can see a bit of a browny bit near the bottom, and towards the top there's a blue bit. So my blue bit has got a high RF value, but my browny black bit that's separating out has a low one. And that's what this is used for in the real world. We're able to separate things out and analyse them. And so if someone decided to use a dangerous dye in your food, we could check that food against all the dangerous dyes that we know, and we would be able to see, this dangerous dye was in the food and it might poison you. Or this dangerous dye was not in the food, it might be a different problem. So these things are used in real life. We can separate dyes with them. We can separate food colours with them. We can also do something very similar by vaporising stuff into a gas and doing gas chromatography. And that's really, really useful in organic chemistry especially, but looking at various different things that are inside mixtures. And it's also used by the police to solve crimes, which is pretty cool, isn't it? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to pause there for a minute and we're going to come finished chromatograms. So here are the chromatograms, and we can see these ones have run up really nice. My red has separated out with a little bit of yellow at the top. My purple and blue haven't run as far. Actually the purple has gone up, it's merged with the pink. And if you look at these ones, the orange started off slow but moved okay. My brown one has got some nice blues and reds in there, so separated out. My green has gone to green and blue, and my black, you can see that lovely trail left behind with blue at the top. So the next thing is we're going to do a picture with chromatography, and our line at the bottom is going to be the ground. So we're going to have a nice line at the bottom for the ground. And as you can see, I've cut up some more filter paper just to make a chromatogram. So what sort of things am I going to want to put on? Well, I think I'm going to use this green, knowing it doesn't travel quite as far, and I'm going to make a little tree. So I'm going to put on what's going to be a tree just here, and I'm going to put another one next to it because everyone needs a friend. Years of watching Bob Ross has taught me a lot about art. So there we go. I've got a couple of what are going to be trees just here, and I've just said Bob Ross, and Bob Ross does like a nice mountain in the background. So I'm going to have a mountain here, but instead of drawing it here, I'm going going to draw it across here. And this should rise up and give me a mountain with a bit of a wobbly peak, which is great. Maybe it could be 2 mountains. And it'll separate out, so there's some blue at the top, so I'll have some lovely blue sky. What else do I fancy? You know what? We might have a little bit of a lake at the bottom as well. Let's go full Bob Ross. This one didn't move very far, so I reckon you could turn into a bit of a lake or a stream just next to the tree. There we go. And we can add on more details when it's finished. Okay, so this is just the start of the picture, not the end. What else might we have? Oh, we could have a nice sunset as well. So just behind the mountain, there's a sunset, and this colour separates out into, there's a blue at the top, and there's some lovely browns and golds and reds in there. So this is going to be my sunset just next to the mountain. Okay. So once I've got this is a little bit easier than the Joy of Painting, but I don't know how it's going to turn out, so that's going to be fun. I am going to once again, got a little bit of water in my glass. I'm going to once again roll this up, so just the bottom of it is going to touch, and I think this might be a bit too wide. So with my scissors, because this is going to be my nice picture, I'm just going to cut off that edge there. As I say, it was originally filter paper. And if I can put this in, touching the water, and we'll see what happens. And Theodore's also got his ready. Oh, it needs to touch the water, lovely. So we need to unwind that a little bit, just so the bottom of it's in the water. And here we go. I really feel like there should be some Joy of Painting music in the background. What do you think? It's a shame we don't have Joy of Painting music to put on, isn't it? So I can see my lake is rising up a little bit further than I thought it would. I can see my trees are separating out into a green and a yellow, and what I might do when it dries out a bit is put some brown on the bottom there to be the tree trunk. But I can see, look at my mountain. Can you see the gorgeous little trails it's leading down? So I've got different aspects to my mountain. So hopefully this is going to be good. We're going to pause the video and we're going to look back at the finished chromatograms, so you don't have to sit and wait while they're all being made. Okay, the chromatograms are nearly finished, but I do need to clear something up because we'd had a glass of milk before we started. I had a little bit of a brain freeze issue, and can you just keep your feet still? Thank you. We had a little bit of a issue, and I said I'd got a glass of milk. I don't. I have a glass of water. Okay, so these have got a tiny bit of water in the bottom. There is no milk. You do not need milk for this experiment. Anyway, let's take a look at our chromatogram. So if I take this one out of the water and just pop it on some filter paper, some tissue paper to dry. So what I can see is that it's really important to test my pens on the paper I'm going to use, because on the kitchen roll, the blue didn't move up very far, but on the filter paper it has done. And my green has separated out. It didn't separate out on the kitchen roll, but it has done on the filter paper. So I've got blue at the top, which is lovely. Blue usually does have a fairly high RF value, as we can see here. Blue on the top, but yellow coming down at the bottom. So what that's going to be is that's going to be my sunshine now. So this bit's going to be my sunshine. And normally I would say do this when the paper's dry, but I'm just going to finish it off now. I am going to put my trees in here, and I'm going to do a little stem here. It's not going to move up the paper now because the water's not moving up. It's just going to dry and evaporate off. And I'm going to put in some little trees here, and we can see just some nice little There we go. Oh, see, I have watched Bob Ross, haven't I? So there we go. We have put that one on there. So I've got some trees. My mountain is actually looking pretty good. I'm really impressed with my mountain. I would like a little bit more blue at the top. So, but that's okay. I can just pop in a little bit of blue here. This bit's all dry. So I can just add in my blue sky. There we go. And I can add something around my sun as well, make it a little bit more circular. Okay, blue sky. And I've got this nice edge to my mountain. Again, I might want to put in, we could put in a little bit of a waterfall. It's coming down here and going down. And a little bit of a pool at the bottom. Oh, there we go. That nice damp paper is making it feel a lot more pooly. And I can put on a little bit of black, just a bit of cragginess down there. And there we go, my lovely chromatogram. And hopefully you've done a nice one at home as well. And thank you for painting along with me. And I hope you found this fairly fun. Have fun with science, and I've been told to tell you not to forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy doing some home science and want some more of this. Take care everyone, and I'll see you soon.